Hey everybody, welcome to the D. Louise Book Series channel. I'm Christina, Kristinadeleuse. Today we are reading Laura Child's A Dark and Stormy Tea, and I liked it so much that I'm going to go back and find some earlier books to read. But this cracked me up because the opening of this book brought to mind an old article I read many years ago as being the foundation for either the really best horror story or mystery story or the worst story, depending on who is writing the article and who or what the book is about. It was believed to have been A Dark and Stormy Night. Was believed to have been first used in 1830 by Edward Bulwer Lytton in his novel Paul Clifford about a highway robber during the French Revolution. It also has the cliché storyline found in any horror movie today of do I walk down the well-lit street or do I take the shortcut through the cemetery? And 100% of the time, to further the plot along, they make the wrong decision. Always. And have you seen that commercial? Every once in a while it shows up where there's a group of kids running out of a horror house and they can either go in the car and escape or they go in the shed and hide behind the sharp instrument. Have you seen the commercial? But so it's Theodore Browning approaches St. Philip's graveyard. She sees two figures locked in a strange embrace. Wiping rain from her eyes, Theodosia realizes she has just witnessed a murder. Okay. And we're trying to be a little Jack the Ripperish, I guess is the word. And in the 1950s, there was a sighting and murder in Lynn, Massachusetts. One eyewitness claimed the killer was dressed as a Victorian dandy. Weird. And then Drayton raised a single eyebrow. A strange, foppishly dressed killer wreaked havoc in North Carolina in the early 80s. So how did the name Fog-Heel Jack come about? Theodose asked. 7 years ago, two brutal murders occurred in Charleston, and just weeks apart. Drayton gazed at her intently. Do you remember the strange meteorological event when an enormous bank of fog swirled in and literally swallowed Charleston? Vaguely. Well, heavy, dense fog swept in from the Atlantic and stuck around for several days. Flights were halted, so was shipping. I understand the fog stretched as far inland as Columbia. Exacting time as the fog, Drayton said. That's when a newspaper reporter with knowledge of Victorian and overactive imagination dubbed our killer Fog-Heel Jack. Drawing on an old legend Theodosia used, I guess I vaguely remember hearing about those murders, but I didn't pay attention to them at the time. Oh, I thought we'd have a little tea with our story. It's the only one I have. So then, why did I want... Haley had put together an afternoon tea special of cherry almond streusel scones with Devonshire cream and a fruit cup. I have never had cherry almond streusel scones with Devonshire cream and a fruit cup. Ever. None of those things. But they said the place was as busy as Grand Central Station, and that just cracked me up. Because I've been to Grand Central Station, and it can be really busy. So that was just my little tidbit. So you also, her friend who owns the bookshop has a very long lease, but there's a real estate developer in town who is played as the bad guy the whole book. it wants to buy that strip of land, but he can't buy the strip of land because the lady has the lease. And Gavin Goulding wants to do whatever he can to get her out of that building so he can sell it to Mr. Orlac, so that he can put up the skylight apartment, condos or something, skyloft. So, and he's a really nasty guy. I wanted to note this. She has a, a friend, but her coworker seems more her friend than her boyfriend, I guess. But I like this. All I have to say is please be careful. Theodore shrugged. It's a trip to the library, Drayton, not a ride along with SWAT team. I like that. That's good. Let's see. Oh, Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue played seductively over the sound system as the first luncheon guests arrived. Theodos greeted them warmly, hung up their damp raincoats and umbrellas, and had Miss Dimple guide them to their seats. As more guests arrived, more greetings and air kisses ensued. Finally, Delane Dish came flouncing in with her niece, Bettina, in tow. Delane claimed to be one of Theodos's dearest friends, though she never missed a chance to correct or one-up her. On the plus side, Delane was a consummate animal lover who raised conspicuous amounts of money for Big Paw's service dogs, of which Earl Grey was a card-carrying therapy dog member, and the Loving Paws Animal Shelter. Now, wouldn't it be nice if some really, really, really rich person would put up a fund to take care of all the animals in the community? Because animal health insurance does diddly squat. And if you want to get your animal health insurance, you got to do it when they're like 2 weeks old. So that was my thought when I read that. I was like, wouldn't it be nice if someone in every community gave free health insurance to all the animals? Of course, we could all move to Canada, and then we people would all get free health insurance too. Wouldn't that be cool? Because you know how many people in this country are hurting huge. But I just thought that just came to my mind when I read that. I was like, we need to take care of our little babies, but you try going to vet nowadays, it's like $1,000. It's like, God. So anyways, so we're after a murderer here. And so that was that one. And I had another place picked out. I'm really gonna have to go back and read the earlier books so I can get to know the individual characters better. Glass is no friend of mine. Fact is, he's a certified muckraker. If I were you, I'd watch out for him. The only reason he's talking to you is because he's trying to pick your brain for a good angle. An ugly image, to be sure, Prince said. You really intend to write about these murders? Theodos asked. Are you kidding me? Prince looked taken back. Frog-Heel Jack has the potential to be a huge deal. He could be right up there with the Zodiac Killer and Hillside Strangler. Theodosia frowned, his words both repulsive and ridiculous. The Serial Killers Hall of Fame? Why? Why do we need something like that, Prince said, especially since our boy is developing such a tried and true MO. Our boy? What a strange thing to say, as if Prince is almost a collaborator. The MO is strangulation by death, being death by strangulation. Theodosia said the words tasted terrible in her mouth. That, and if Frog-Heel Jack decides to adopt a kind of signature, as many serial killers do. Serial killers adopt a signature? Theodosia had a good inkling of what he was referring to, but wanted to hear it from Prince himself. Oh, some killers steal a piece of their victim's jewelry, a lock of hair, or even an article of clothing. Interesting. I will definitely need to take a shower after this conversation. It was good. And the whole time you're like, there's so many different suspects for so many different reasons, and you're pointed in all these kinds of directions. Oh, I forgot to say in the beginning, and I'll say it again later, but please like and subscribe. It's really, really, really important that you like and subscribe the videos. I don't know what's wrong with me or with people's, but I've seen so many videos where people have thousands and thousands of views and 2 likes. Well, I'm walking around with maybe 1 like, so please like, please. Theodore's head was still spinning when she arrived home. There were too many dead women, too many coincidences, too many questions, and no discernible answers to anything. She made a promise to Lois that now seemed almost impossible to keep. If the Charleston police couldn't figure out who was committing these murders, how could she? We need a. Her doggy's Earl Grey. Do you know that Jean-Luc Picard's favorite tea is Earl Grey? Okay. So she goes out and she takes the dog for a walk. And she sees her neighbor. Theodosia tipped to one of the sliding garage doors and wedged her fingers into a crack. Slowly, carefully, she pushed the door open with it along its metal track. Then she peeked inside and in the dim light saw a washing machine and heard something sloshing around inside and wondered, what's Nick Price washing this time of night? The question rattled around inside her brain for a few seconds. Then the answer came rushing at her like a runaway freight train. Bloody clothes? If you're a Big Brother Canada fan, you knew. So she freaks herself out. And what's with the tea? Oh, you know what I wanted to see is that Vicky Delaney, she is a Sherlock mystery, and her bookshop is connected to a tea shop. I just thought I'd bring that up because this reminded me so much of that. And I really need to go read the earlier ones of these to catch up on the characters. The funeral reception had started at 10:15, with the last guest leaving the Indigo Tea Shop around 11:20. Now, after an abundance of hugs and thank yous, Lois and Naomi, Theodosia, and Miss Dimple were scrambling to set up for lunch. Who was the crabby guy you booted off the premises? Miss Dimple said to Theodosia as she spread a pink linen tablecloth on one of the round tables and carefully smoothed it out. He's the man who owns the building where Lois's bookshop was located. He's angling to get her out of the building so he can sell it to a real estate developer. What does the developer want to do with it? Condos. More condos? How awful. Do we really need more condos? We need more parks. And we're getting closer to the murderer. Who done it? And she's pointing fingers at all these different people. What did I say? Oh, I'm on the wrong page. Cashing out one table, Theodosia returned the change to her customer, thanked them, and then wandered back to the counter. Only one way to find out, she decided. Drayton, I need to run out on a short errand. Theodosia said, will you keep an eye on things? Absolutely, but first he grabbed a teapot, poured a stream of amber liquid into a floral teacup, and handed it to her. I want you to try this new estate Darjeeling I just sourced. Theodosia took a sip. When Drayton spoke, she listened. If he thought a new tea was worth tasting and maybe putting on the roster at the Indigo Tea Shop, then she would certainly give it careful consideration. One sip and she knew Drayton was spot on. Then again, he always was. Okay, this is amazingly complex, Theodosia said. It starts out flavorful and a slight brisk, then finishes dry, like a good champagne. Drayton said, effervescent to light up the taste buds, but with a dry finish. Who compares tea to champagne? I don't know. But that was cute. And I certainly didn't mean to ruffle any feathers, Theodosia said. You asked me about Lois Chamberlain. Then the cop showed up a couple of days later and started asking me about Lois Chamberlain. And I think to myself, isn't that amazing coincidence? He regarded her with a smug, knowing grin. What do I think? Maybe you sicked them on me, girlie? A grown man, a businessman, a professional real estate man. Girlie? Really? I'm sorry. And one last note, and I really need to get the other earlier books. So, they're having a murder mystery in the tea shop. Haven't you heard of those murder mystery theaters where they have people come for dinner and then they have actors go around and you solve a mystery? I think it's like this. As you can see, we've transferred the Indigo Tea Shop into Chillingham Manor. Theodosia said, an historic edifice located on the windswept Salisbury Plain. Here we intend to enchant you with our amazing tea and delicacies and lure you into solving a spine-tingling murder mystery. So, you got the main murder mystery, and then you got a sub-murder mystery, and she has like 5 suspects, and she's pointing the finger at Wyatt Orlock, she's pointing the finger at Gavin Gooley, she's pointing the finger at her neighbor, and she's pointing the finger everywhere. And the whodunit is a surprise that comes out of left field. But if you go back and look at the book, you can see itsy bitsy teensy weensy. Maybe it's a surprise, but it struck me as one of those you could see it kind of coming kind of thing if you really paid attention to some of those cop shows kind of thing. But it was really good. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I got to go back and read the earlier books to get more familiar with the characters. And I was really surprised that the boyfriend took a very backseat to the whole thing. And Drayton, one of her workers or a friend, took a partnership, friendship thing in this sleuthing. I in some of my other books, some of the other cozies, the boyfriend, the cop, and he is a cop, takes a partnership in the role, but in this case, it's Drayton that takes the partnership in the role. So that was good, interesting that had changed because in all my other books, it's the boyfriend or significant other, and in one of them, the Angelica Nisita, that cop turned out to be a little on the bad side. But we'll get back to him as soon as the next book comes out. But please check this out. I had fun with it, and A Dark and Stormy Night. It had so many cliches that cracked me up, but it was good. It was enjoyable. It was an easy read. It was a very quick read. It didn't take long at all. And definitely check out Laura Child, A Dark and Stormy Tea. And should we have a little tea with our... I gotta put that away before I break it. But please like and subscribe. It's really important. I got a whole bunch of more books to read this week. So please like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. and help me grow my little itty bitty channel. Because I'm no expert. I just like to read books, um, and I like to talk about books. So please like and subscribe. Thank you.